Chapter 15, a totally casual hike. Hopefully you're all having a good day. Morning after an eventful but possibly life-changing dance with Blake. Lino is practically skipping around your room as he helps you pack for the day's hike. Your and Blake's hike.
This is perfect. I mean, Blake has always been hard to read, but that proposal...
You pick up your toiletries bag and shake your head at Lena. It wasn't a proposal. All he did was ask me to go on a hike with him.
Yeah, he proposed that you join him on a romantic hike that he originally planned with his girlfriend.
I still can't believe Rebecca showed up halfway through the... Lino tears your toiletries bag out of your hand in an instant, clutching it to his chest.
Hey, we are not saying her name today. Today is about you, your true love, and all the progress you're making.
Lino, you're right. Sure, Rebecca tried to crash our night together, but Blake still asked me out. On another, well, I still don't know if last night was our first date, so I can't exactly call this our second.
Close enough, just embrace the optimism, Judy. Felicia agreed that you deserve a chance to enjoy yourself.
Did you really call your wife at 2 a.m. and tell her all about all this?
Whenever I get Boris out here, I have to seize the moment. My honey bear deserves all the latest and juiciest drama beans.
I see. Well, whatever drama beans there are, I'll be sure to bring some juicy ones back. Your phone suddenly buzzes on the nightstand. Before you can make a single move, Lino grabs it.
Blake texted you? Looks like it's gonna be nice out. You know what that's code for?
That the weather's gonna be nice? That it's gonna be nice out?
No, it means that since you're not carrying a week's worth of gear, you can focus on looking smoking hot for your day with Blake.
That's not the worst idea. I bought one cute little number that I've been saving for a special occasion.
Something tells me that it doesn't get more special than this.
Lino's idea of special is limited to a second date. Okay.
Well, what do you think? Cinderella had her glass slipper, and you, my beloved bestie, have the perfect second date outfit.
Really?
You've got this in the bag, I promise. You're gonna have a great time, especially once Blake sees you in this.
A few hours later, you and Blake find yourself strolling along a picturesque woodland trail near a babbling brook. It seems like every few steps you spot a new bird in the trees or a new critter hopping through the underbrush. Look at all those chipmunks. And I think there was a blue jay. I feel like this is the most wildlife we've seen since the Bat Cave incident. They must have all want to look because they think you're royalty. You look like a fairy tale princess from Soho.
I do?
Is he flirting? That has to be a good sign, right? But what level of flirting back says I'm into you and not trying too hard? Besides you, Blake grins and nods. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't burst into song yet. You call him Prince Charming or Robin Hood? I don't know. That makes you my knight in shining armor. Blake laughs and bows to you. I mean, I did look pretty cool riding on Chimmy the other day. I could totally be your dashing, devoted knight. He says it so casually that part of you almost tries to brush off that comment. But then he winks at you, and it feels pretty obvious that Blake Marshall is flirting. Just don't go riding off on some quest and leave me with all of her camping stuff. I would never. Unless there was a damsel in distress. I'm serious. Blake lets out a happy sigh as you keep strolling along the path. Will you smell that fresh air? You don't get that in the city, you know? City air has its own charms, but yeah, this is a nice change. City air has its charms, my ass. You know what we're doing right now? Hiking to our camping spot? Nope, we're bathing. Forest bathing. Is that a thing? Yeah, it's where, you know, the clean nature energy is just washing over you, and it just gets rid of all of the garbage that you would take from the city. Trust me, folks, I can't say this enough. It's one of the most... Oh, the feeling. You really need to. You really need to enjoy it. Yeah, there are studies in everything. Spending time in the woods reduces stress, increases blood oxidation, all kinds of good stuff. So, drink it all in. Forest bathing, huh? I should have brought my rubber ducky. What? I swear I texted you to bring Mr. Ducky with you. Damn, must have lost signal. You'll just have to bring him on the next forest bath, then. Already planning another one, are you? He shoots you a grin that softens from playful to something a little more serious that makes your heart flutter in your chest. Mostly just planning on more hikes with you. I like the sound of that. You can barely take your eyes off of him as you stroll up the trail. Everything feels just as easy as it did yesterday. Just as well, we got a small problem. Problem? If Rebecca stalks out of those trees like some sort of vengeful forest spirit, I'm going to lose my... But to your relief, Blake just points to a stream up ahead. The water's high, occasionally washing over a slick row of stepping stones. Looks like this crossing is going to be slippery. Here. He hops on the first stone, then holds out a hand to you. Just, make a leap for it. You take a step back to gather momentum, leap, and grasp his hand in midair. He pulls you onto the rock beside him, steadying you against his body. You got some nice air on that one. Speaking of air, there's basically none between you. You're still wrapped in his strong arms, and you swear you can feel his heartbeat. Well, the jumping part was easy, and thanks for helping me stick the landing. Both of you make your way carefully across the other rocks. You leap for the shore just before Blake, landing safely on solid ground. Hello, terra firma. Then he leaps and lands a little short, one foot coming down on a patch of moss. Oh. Without even thinking, you clasp his hand and pull him to safety. Phew, nice reflexes, Ballard. Well, if I'd let you get swept away by a raging river, I'd have to gamble all by myself. That didn't sound nearly as fun. I should hope not, especially since yours truly is carrying the sleeping bags. We have a pretty, we make a pretty good team, huh? Yeah, the best. Around a bend, the trail leads into a beautiful field of flowers. Butterflies flit among the petals, buffeted by a gentle breeze. Okay, forget forest bathing. They should do studies on flower bathing. It's technically one and the same, but this place is pure magic. Looks like something right out of a fairy tale. The yellow brick road. But when you turn to see Blake's reaction, he's smiling brightly, just as like on Maiden's Peak, looking less at the view and more at you. Says the girl dressed like a modern-day princess. Yeah, so I should know. He laughs and nods. Honestly, I'm just glad to have this kind of stuff in my backyard again, and to be near you again. The word makes your heart leap as you both admire the flower-covered field. I felt like a pretty pointed emphasis, or am I just reading too much into it? It just sucks that Eve is leaving right when I'm coming back. Yeah, Germany is a lot of time zones away. I'm gonna miss her. Yeah, you've been in the Bay long time yourself. Do you think you'll ever want to take a page out of Eve's book, head for greener pastures? Not with scenery like this, no. Leave the Bay? I love it, I'm never moving. Even with the fog and the infinite microclimates. More like because of them. I love layering. Sweater weather is my favorite type of weather. Same. As if you have to tell me. I bought you half the sweaters in your closet, Mr. Marshall. He bows to you with a flourish. I am grateful, as always, for your impeccable taste. So you're really sticking around, too? Long term, I mean? Yeah, I think I am. But good, because saying goodbye to you once was hard enough. The hardest goodbye of my life. As you and Blake stroll through the field, trailing your fingers over the flower petals, memories of Blake's move drift through your mind. I felt like there was something he wanted to tell me that day, but he never quite did. Let me guess, diamond choice? Maybe he'll tell me now if I asked. Oh, look at that, I was right. About 3 years ago, on the most bittersweet days of your life, you stand outside of his apartment, helping him shove a few boxes into the back of his car. You sure you can't drive down with me? I could use a top-notch co-pilot. I wish, but my week is full of back-to-back meetings. Wow, you're choosing work over a charter, or being in charge of tunes? Look who's all grown up and being responsible. I'm trying to be. Blake winks as you hand him the last box, which is way too big for the little square space left in the car. I have a feeling that one's not gonna fit, unless you want to donate some prized possessions to me. I'm not letting you extort me in my moment of weakness, it'll fit, trust me. He tries to squeeze the large box into the tiny space, crumbling the edges of the surrounding boxes as it starts to slide in. Almost, come on! Suddenly the box spills out, the top popping open to reveal a massive penguin plushie. How did it even fit in there? You're bringing Mr. Fluffy? I didn't realize you still had him. He's the softest thing alive. Only a monster would get rid of him. You don't expect a grown man to move to a whole new city without his favorite stuffed penguin, do you? No. I'm glad you'll have at least one familiar face when you're in LA. But you should give him a royal treatment instead of shoving him in the back. What do you mean? I don't know, letting him ride shotgun? You pull the box all the way open and take out the well-loved Mr. Fluffy, giving him a tight hug. I think Mr. Fluffy deserves the title of co-pilot for your trip. Of course, why didn't I think of that? Maybe because of that part of you was reserving the seat for me. The two of you close the back of the car before securely buckling Mr. Fluffy in the front seat next to the snacks. As you close the door, Blake sheepishly rubs the back of his neck. Something else you're missing for the move? Lost mugs, towels, hiding in the closet, any bodies you need dug up in the backyard? I took care of that already. I guess now I just have to say farewell to my crappy apartment. It wasn't all bad. Anytime the bathroom line was too long at the dive bar, we could just run over to your place. Yeah, but it had the worst insulation. I survived the last 4 winters huddled next to a tiny space heater. And I'm assuming holding Mr. Fluffy. At least in LA, you won't have to worry about it getting too cold. True, one more upside to moving almost 400 miles away from my dream job. Heavy silence envelops both of you as the weight of reality sets in. You're going to be hundreds of miles apart, possibly for good. I'm going to miss you so much. I know I told you to take the job offer down there and live your chef dreams, but the part where you're leaving still sucks. Yeah, it does. Blake gives you a sympathetic smile before turning to you, arms wide open. You accept the hug, doing your best to hold back tears and squeeze him tight. But hey, I'm only a 6-hour drive away, and we're in the same time zone. I'm basically still by your side, just not physically. Let me get that tidbit of Blake Marshall wisdom stitched onto a pillow. Hey, you know you're gonna miss my tidbits. You do your best to smile back, but you can't help it. Keep it up for long before tears start to well up in your eyes. Don't worry, Ballard, it's not like I'm moving to LA forever. Blake, how can you be so sure? Well, for one thing, I didn't fall in love with LA the first time I saw it like I did when I first moved to the Bay. Really? Yeah. Took me a while to warm up to the idea of living there, but here, as soon as I'm at. For a moment, he hesitates. As soon as I saw the Golden Gate Bridge, Carl, the fog, Beverly Hills, how could I not fall in love with it? So your heart will stay here? Yeah, He stops himself before looking you straight in the eyes. I promise, I'll come back someday. I'm gonna hold you to that, Blake Marshall. I'm counting on it. With another promise made between you, you both share one more hug, one you wish could last forever. As the memory fades, Blake turns towards you, raising an eyebrow. Everything alright? I was just thinking about the day you cruelly abandoned me and moved to LA. Ugh, that was the longest 6-hour drive of my life. I didn't think I'd ever escape the Central Valley. Thankfully, Mr. Fluffy kept me sane through the endless artichoke fields. That someone nominated him to be my co-pilot. You're welcome. I've always wondered right before you left. I felt like you were about to tell me something, only you never quite said it. Do you remember what it was? He looks thoughtful, and for a moment you think he's not going to say anything. It's been years. He probably doesn't remember a silly little thing like that. But then he speaks up. Flirt. I was going to say that I knew I was going to come back one day because I could never be away from you forever. Ooh, it's hey, Mr. Marshall laying it on. I didn't realize I meant that much to you. You mean the world to me, Valor. I thought that would have been obvious by now. Hey, listen. Both of you are idiots until very recently, okay? Just saying. Those words ring like music in your ears, setting your heart aflutter. Well, I'm glad you finally found your way back. Me too. Life just wasn't the same without you. The two of you share a warm smile before continuing down the trail. An hour later, you arrive at a picturesque clearing. Standing amongst the trees, you feel like the only two people in the world. Ah, that's beautiful. Like I said, the outdoors is amazing. Welcome to Heart Grove. Apparently was the founders' go-to campsite before they decided to build a lodge. I can see why. It's gorgeous. Look at the way the sunlight falls through the trees. You both slowly explore the clearing, looking for the perfect spot to set up camp. What do you think? Tent over here by this tree? Then we can build the campfire there? You read my mind. I hope so. We should set up a camp more the times than I can count. I know you get fussy when the fire is too close to the tent. You and I are a well-oiled camping machine. You're damn right. Lino and Eve would be so impressed if they could see us now. Yeah, it's a shame they aren't here. At the hesitation in your voice, he pauses, his brow furrowed slightly. He turns to give you a small, reassuring smile. I agree to disagree on that one. I kinda like having you all to myself. Oh, I'm glad. I mean, ditto. You help him set up the tent in moments, the two of you moving in perfect sync. Can you hold this steady for me while I tighten the knot? He passes one of the securing ropes to you, and as you take it, your hands brush. Even that small touch sends sparks through your whole body. Sure. Blake squeezes your hand ever so slightly before letting go. Thanks, all set. While you get the campfire ready, your skin still warm from the moment of contact, Blake unpacks more gear, and then you see him freeze. Is everything alright? Yeah, I was on autopilot while packing today's gear, and I didn't just bring one tent. You watch as Blake holds up a sleeping bag, a lone two-person sleeping bag. Oh. Sorry, I already put this with the tent when it was supposed to be me, and I forgot to double-check it before I left. You glance at the sleeping bag, then at Blake, then at the sleeping bag, which is either a blessing or the worst thing never happened to you. Why would that be the worst thing? It's big enough for two, but are you okay with sharing? Of course, I mean, if you are. Yeah, of course, totally. So, this is fine. We're both fine. God, you're both awkward as shit. Absolutely. Later that night, after a delicious meal around the campfire, the inevitable happens. You and Blake make your way into the tent, a very intimate tent. It's awfully cozy in there. Yeah, cozy. That's the word. Oh, you are both just, good, He gestures behind you towards the sleeping bag, and you squeeze into one side so he can slip past. His chest brushes yours for one long, breathless moment before he passes you. He does an adorably awkward crawl into the sleeping bag. Thanks, made it. Wow, you made that look effortless. Let's see you do any better. You unzip your side of the sleeping bag and climb into beside him. It takes a little scrambling, but there's just enough room for two. You lie there facing him, barely a foot apart, your stomach suddenly full of butterflies. Hope you're comfy, or packed in like sardines. True. But the company is nice. There's no one else I'd rather be sardine tinned with. Not even Lino. Please, we both know he talks in his sleep. You both laugh, and you're so close that his breath mists across your neck. All those butterflies in your stomach flutter even harder. Good point. And you're right. The company is nice. Silence falls between you. You're acutely aware of every ounce of space between your bodies and how little it would take to close the distance. Get it together, Jody. You've kissed him, but this is different. With your pulse pounding in your ears, you turn away from Blake on your other side. Behind you, you feel him do the same. Well, good night. Yeah, good night. You try to sleep, you really do, but in seconds turn into minutes, all you can do is lie there painfully aware of his body beside yours. I think I'll think about how counting sheep. We'll do counting sheep. You can do this. Just think of sleepy thoughts. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep. No. Blake moves slightly behind you, one of his hands brushing your side, and all thoughts of sheep instantly vanish from your mind. Okay, screw sleepy thoughts. More minutes pass, Blake shifts and lets out a sigh, and you realize his breathing has never quite slowed. Is he awake too? I don't know, why don't you turn? There's only one way to find out. You take a deep breath and turn over to face him, just as he turns to face you. Hey, stranger. Hey. You're barely just inches apart, his lips are slightly parted. Invitation in his eyes, something serious and gentle all at once. You're filled with a sudden certainty that if you lean in, he will too. And if I do, everything between us will change. This scene will take your relationship to the whole new level because it's probably going to be bound chicka wow wow in the woods in a tent. Your whole body shivers in anticipation as you lean in to kiss him. The moment you do, he's kissing you back, one hand sliding to cradle your waist and pull you closer. You kiss is slow at first, but once your body is pressed against his, you feel a sudden heat rush through you. He's a mix of hard, plain, soft edges fitting perfectly against you in all the right ways as you open your mouth to deepen the kiss. Jody. His hands slide up from your waist and tracing slow circles over your ribs through the thin fabric of your clothing. You nip at his bottom lip, and then he groans when you both come up for breath. There's a heat to his smile that makes your heart race. We're never gonna sleep if you keep doing that. We weren't sleeping in the first place. I thought that was the idea. Fair point. You have a smile before going on for another kiss. Your bodies shift against each other as his hands suddenly reach the hem of your shirt. His hand stays there for a moment, running questioningly along the line of the fabric. Your lips part as he gazes in your eyes. Is this okay if you don't want to go too fast? Blake, stop talking and kiss me. As you wish. He leans in to part your lips with his tongue, his hand sliding up a little further beneath the fabric of your clothing. A moan slips out of your mouth before you can help it, but Blake takes it for encouragement. It is, tracing his calloused fingers along your skin. His kisses start to trail downward, a line of heat that curves along your neck and down to your chest. Even through the fabric between you, his touch is electric, irresistible. You arch into it with a soft gasp, and Blake looks up, smirking. Like that, didn't you? I think you, know the answer to that question. And I wonder what would happen if, his fingers slowly start to work your shirt upward, and you nod fervently, pulling off your top as he helps you out of the rest of your clothing. He deftly unfastens your bra, but the moment the last of your clothes falls away, he stops and stares, awestruck. Damn, Ballard. For one wild moment, you wonder if he fell asleep after all. and all this is just a wonderful dream. And then he reaches out to trail a finger down your chest, goosebumps rising in its wake, and the heat of his gaze is the realest thing you've ever felt. You're gorgeous. You'll probably be basking in the compliment for the rest of your life, but you feel bold and lit up with want, and he's still wearing too many clothing. I'm glad you think so, but I want to see you too. You lean in and nip at his neck, fingers reaching for the hem of his shirt. I think we can arrange that. You tug his shirt off so fast that the fabric nearly tears, tossing it over your shoulder into one corner of the tent. Someone's impatient. I've been waiting a very long time to do this. He sucks in a small breath as you slide your hands down his bare chest towards his belt. You unbuckle and toss it aside as he shimmers out of the last of his clothes, and then finally, he's just as naked as you are. In the tight quarters of the tent, there's no room to take a step back, but there's still plenty of light to admire him by. That's the verdict. Huh? Not quite the reaction I was hoping for. Listen, guys, seriously, we don't get much words out of women when it comes to us, like, but I'm gonna be honest with you, like, we just aren't much compared to the female form, let's be honest. You laugh and shake your head, trying to put the mix of a familiarity and newness in words. It's not that, I just never knew you had a birthmark on your thigh. You reach out to trace it, it's just a little bit below his left hip bone as he bites back a small, eager noise. Well, you've never seen me like this, have you? And also, that's not an answer. Right, the verdict is you're very hot. But I think I've forgotten whether you're a good kisser or not. Ah, well, let me see if I can remind you then. The two of you get lost in another passionate kiss. A breeze flutters the fabric of the tent, but in his arms you're safe and warm. The sleeping bag tangles around you as he shifts closer, one hand trailing down your body in a lazy, wandering arch, before finally venturing lower. Oh. You pull him on top of you, braced between your thighs as his hand slides teasingly against you again. The awe and excitement in his eyes set your heart racing even faster. After the kiss on Maiden's Peak and last night on the balcony, you don't know how often I've thought about those. I think I might have some... Your whole body quivers as his hand dips down again, a slow movement that he draws out as long as possible. Sorry, were you saying something? It doesn't matter, just keep doing that. Only that, or do you want more? You answer by letting your head fall back against the sleeping bag's pillows, arching in those touches. His hand continues to explore more. While his fingers slide against you, he kisses your neck, nipping the sensitive skin and soothing it with his tongue. You like that, I take it? That feels good. He teases you for what could be minutes or hours, each touch sparking heat low in your stomach. Then he looks up at you with want flaring in his eyes. Tell me what you want. Probably this is where we're gonna have to cut off because of YouTube, but you know. If that's... Before he can finish the sentence, he pushes the covers of the sleeping bag further down, grips your hips, and with one easy movement sends the other surge of heat through you. He pulls you on top of him. You straddle his hips, and he looks up with you with an eager grin. Yeah, it is. Good, because I've got you right where I want you. It was a very quick mount chicka wow wow. Your eyes flutter open as the morning light drifts in through the tent. You feel perfectly blissfully exhausted and warm. You glance down to find Blake's arms around you. He's still asleep. His naked body fits perfectly against yours as his chest rises and falls. He's still here. It wasn't a dream. And we've just crossed a line we've never crossed before. Alright, well, without further ado, thank you all for watching. Much love and appreciation. Please remember that if you did enjoy the content, to like, share, and subscribe. Head down in the description below. Plenty of things to check out, plenty of ways to support. But without further ado, let me say the following. Do apologize about being late about this. If you guys went over to my TikTok or Insta, pretty much you guys know what was going on. But for those of you who didn't, again, those links are always in the description. Yesterday was record-breaking, really bad air, with the levels being at danger. Literally, it's the highest you can go. So, for most normal people, that I talk to, let alone most normal people, period, you are really not supposed to be out for prolonged periods of out in the weather like that, right? The ERs here were jam-packed full of people who got really badly sick. A couple passed because of what happened yesterday and has continued on even to today. So for me, because of my lung issues, yeah, no, it's been very taxing, right? I've had to take things at a very snail's pace. Pretty much, have had to wear my mask indoors, right? And have pretty much had to have like no contact with the outside world. And then also like just yeah, no. Remember, air doesn't stop at your door, and it just doesn't go, well, door's closed, it's time to go home. One of the reasons why I've had to wear my mask in. It's very taxing, it's very tiring, it's very, like, this is probably the worst I've ever felt in my entire life, I'm gonna be honest with you. So me trying to get this out, it took a bit of time, but here I am getting it out, trying to get this stuff out for you guys. Hopefully this stuff passes here soon. Again, links in the description if you ever want to try and support me in getting a few things that would significantly help. And also I do have to say that just a TLDR, that all of you should, even if you're not going through this right now, or even if you did, you should definitely invest in air purifiers for your home, right? Especially a good quality one. You don't want to get a cheap one. You want to try and get a good quality one. I've done a review on one in the past. It's done a significant job, but unfortunately, it is one that is. I mean, I've had it about 8 years. It's kind of run its course, right? The fan and the motor doesn't work as well and whatnot. And I need to really get a new one. But that's kind of, moolah, right? So yeah. Without further ado, love your beautiful faces. Thank you all for being understanding. Thank you all for watching and listening. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.